Welcome back to another episode of the Three Falls Podcast. This is Matt, joined by, he's not the guest. He's one of the hosts, and he's back again. Back again. Look who's back.
Hey guys, it's me. It's Mike Punga.
That's quite the voice, Punga.
No. I could not do as good as Mike. I cannot be that good, but it's me, Derek. Everyone missed me, I know.
Yeah, we had tons of fan mail saying, "Where's Derek?"
He owes me money.
Of course, most of the email came from mikepunga@gmail.com. But
how's it going?
Oh, it's going. Another week in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got a question before we start. I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the water levels rising due to climate control, do you see that this could propose a threat to... That is the best I could do. Before coming on, I didn't have much time to prep, so I tried to look up the exact question. I couldn't find it, and that's the best I could do off the top of my head.
Well, let me answer your question with that, or I will do my best to answer your question. Do you know what they do in Amsterdam for rising water levels?
No, I don't.
They have water ducts. They built all around the water to combat the rising water levels.
Ducks. Like quack quack?
No. Anyway.
Oh, ducks, like D-U-C-T.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, they've had this for forever, and they don't go underwater, right?
Yeah.
But nowhere in the States along the coast has this technology. So I had watched, actually, ironically, there's a wrestling tie, I had watched some feature with John Stossel talking about this. and he made the comment, and the only way John Stossel could, that was like, "Are you telling me the people in Miami are too stupid to adopt this technology?"
John Stossel, give me a break.
Anyway, we'll get started today. So we're recording late Friday night into Saturday morning. So I just want to go over some birthdays for Friday and Saturday in the wrestling world.
Yeah, happy birthday to these people.
So August 7th is Marty Bell's birthday from NWA Power, formerly of TNA.
Who?
Marty Bell.
Oh, okay. I like her. Yeah. She was
in the Dollhouse in TNA.
Yeah, who was she? Did she have a different name or no?
I think she was Marty Bell in TNA. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know who you're. I like her. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's currently on NWA Power. She's in that Thunder Rosa and Melina.
Yeah,
state.
She was what's her name's friend? Allison Kay's friend, but she turned on her, right?
Yeah. Then Allison Kay posted a lot of birthday messages today for Marty Bell, so I don't think they're enemies anymore.
Oh, you know how those females are.
Send
your mail to Matt Pepper at care of Three Falls Podcast.
Speaking of females that had actual heat in the business. With the business. Today is Sable's birthday.
Woo! No one cares.
Oh, maybe. Well, I think Brock probably does.
No, he probably doesn't.
Yeah, he's probably milking a cow on the farm. And do you remember?
Why would you're rude? Why would you call Sable a cow? That's so mean.
That was your interpretation. I definitely did not call Sable a cow. I don't even know. I haven't even
send your Sable. Brock hate mail care of Matt Pepper at Three Falls Podcast.
Yes, because that's exactly who I'd want to come visit me. I was thinking I made a comment like that.
Just F5 the whole city of Chatham.
Yeah, he'd come up and say it's amateur wrestling class today. I couldn't wait for that. Do you remember Asia from WCW?
Yes.
Today is her birthday.
Now, was she BB in WWF?
No.
Because then he... Okay, no, man. Oh, yeah, I kind of remember her. Wow, we really sunk low.
Now, here's one of those names you might say who.
That was like the last two people.
Last two people?
Marty Bell and...
Sable?
Yeah, who?
Today is Johnny Smith's birthday.
Wait, is that the English? The
Yes,
Saint
not
John?
Johnny Saint. Not
Oh no
Johnny
no no
Saint.
no. Oh, Johnny Smith. Wait,
Johnny
Johnny
Smith.
Smith. Didn't he wrestle in ECW?
Yes, he did.
You know what's funny? I tweeted it like about 2 years ago. I was watching a match and he was in it, and I'm like, this guy, they really missed the boat on him. Like at all the companies. Like I thought he was so talented.
Yeah,
I don't know what had happened to him. I don't know his story, but
well, he was a Stampede guy, and I think he replaced Davey Boy Smith in the Bulldogs team when Dynamite and Davey had their falling out. And they think because they couldn't use the name because Davey went and copyrighted it.
That's why Dynamite and Davey have heat, I think. Oh no, or that was.
Oh yeah. That's why they had heat. Because Dynamite went to go use the Bulldog name, and then he got a cease and desist order. Davey went and copyrighted it before even Vince did.
He copyrighted it if he wanted to or not.
Yeah, so they were the British Bruisers because they couldn't use the Bulldog name. But yeah, he ended up in ECW. I don't know how long he was there for, but I do remember him being there for.
I think it was just a cup of coffee.
Some birthdays on
Saturday,
August 8th. So you'll remember this for sure. Someone we would have grown up hearing on TV. Lord Alfred Hayes, his birthday on August 8th.
Oh, and that ad was paid for by the following.
Today, August 8th, is Shayna Baszler's birthday.
No comment. I'm afraid of her.
You want to know how old Shayna Baszler is?
28.
No.
How old is she?
She's 40 years old.
You get out of town.
I'm not kidding.
I am Googling this right now. No way Shayna Baszler is 40 years old. No freaking way. Shayna? Oh, gotta spell her name right. Shayna Baszler. 40 years old? Holy moly.
Yep.
As you can tell, I thought she was way younger than that. That was a legit answer when I said that she was my answer was 30 or 28. I cannot believe that. Wow. You know what? Honestly, she looks good. She does not look that her age. She looks good. She moves well. And yeah, like damn, WWE better start pushing her because if she's 40, who knows how many years she has in the tank. That's an unknown.
You're seeing a lot of wrestlers right now that are around that mid-40 range.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and not to sound so chauvinistic, but with women, is it a different story? Because you don't see too many women up there around that age competing regularly. Except for in Japan, like Bull Nakano did.
Yes and no, because
I think
it's hard to say in this era because if you were talking 20 years ago when it was really prominent that most of the women were absurdly attractive, then I would say yes. Now it's more about the athletic part of it. There's still a look involved in it. So I guess it depends. Mickey James is still going. I'm going to move on to the next birthday here. Now, this one you will pop for. This is the biggest legend in your life. It is Scott D'Amore's birthday.
Who? Who now? How old is Scotty D?
I'm not going to disclose that.
How old is Scotty D?
I don't know.
I know how old he is.
I'm going to say...
Take a guess.
45?
Yep. Ding, 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 ding.
Scott's birthday today.
And like Shayna Baszler, he looks good for his age.
But really, though, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Scott. That's all the birthdays for today. No, nothing else of note there. We'll get started on some news and notes and some quirks today. I found something on social media that I knew that you would be interested in. I can't remember the group that posted it. I did keep a copy of it. I think it's Wrestling's Glory Years or some kind of tribute page. And there was a post about Bret Hart. So this is what it reads. Hall of Famers, or should be, had the best match of their career, non-gimmick match with the man known as Best There Is, Best There Was, Best There Will Be, excellent execution Bret Hart, which I believe is a testament to the legacy of his excellency. If I'm missing anyone from the list, feel free to add them in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to name each person here and which match they pick as the best match of their career. So what the post is saying, all these
Yeah.
legends had their
Okay.
best match against Bret. Okay.
Okay.
So the first name on the list is Mr. Perfect, and the match is SummerSlam 1991. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm lost because I thought these were like legends they talked to and they picked their favorite match
No.
against Bret Hart. Because I was going to say Mr. Perfect's been dead for about 17 years.
No. So this is the author put what he felt these legends' best matches were, and they were against Bret. So he's saying that Bret's legacy was that these people had the best match of their career, and it was against Bret. So for the first match,
Oh, so like Mr. Perfect's best match was against Bret. I agree with that. Yes.
So
I
SummerSlam
agree.
91.
Hands down, yes. I love that match.
That's when Bret won the Intercontinental title in Madison Square Garden, which was a really cool moment.
And he ripped off his singlet at the end. He ripped off Perfect's singlet.
Yeah, and he was in his underwear or whatever. Yeah. Do you remember who Perfect's manager was?
Yeah, it was John Tolos, coach.
Yeah, the coach. Yeah. For the next one, and you and I actually discussed this last week. Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8.
Well, yeah, we discussed it last week, hands down.
Okay.
I can't even tell you like another Piper match that comes close to that.
Work-wise, no. He had memorable matches, but nothing.
Yeah, he had memorable matches, but I'm talking about. I thought this was like best match, like work-wise.
It is.
Okay, so yeah, so nothing comes close.
Okay. British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. He lists both SummerSlam 92 and In Your House 1995.
You know, this is a hard one for me because British. You know what?
I know what you're gonna say. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I'm going to have to say no to this one, only because one of my favorite matches of all time is British Bulldog versus Owen Hart for the finals of the European Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that match was so great. I thought both men were extremely athletic because the one with Bret Hart in 92 that everyone loves, I feel like the one with Owen Hart showcased Bulldog's ability and agility more than that match with Bret Hart because, from things I've read, Bulldog wasn't exactly all there during that match with Bret Hart. So I'm going to disagree with that. I do love also the In Your House match, but I can't. I give this one to Owen Hart and British Bulldog.
See, I'm going to agree with it because that SummerSlam match is my favorite match.
Because you're a sheep.
No, that is my favorite match.
But do you agree with me though? Like, I feel like that match didn't showcase what Bulldog could do. I feel like it showcased what Bret Hart could do, and that Bret Hart can carry somebody through a match. But like I said, like when you watch that, it didn't seem as if Bulldog was all there. Like the one in Europe with Owen Hart, he was doing flips and everything.
I think the SummerSlam match, as it moved along, it was much more. There was more to Davey as the match went along. But yes, the backstory is a bigger part of that match in hindsight than
exactly.
But
because how many cuts of Diana did you see during that match?
Too many.
Exactly. This other match was just a one-on-one match. It was for a title. It was tag team partners going at it. Brother-in-laws going at it.
Yep. Do you think Diana? To me, she had the haircut to look like Princess Diana at the time. You ever get that vibe?
Let's move on.
I don't know. I always found that funny. Anyway, so he also listed the In Your House match, which I think is really underrated.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
that's the one where Davey was bleeding really bad, right? Or was it Bret bleeding really bad? One of them bled like real. Yeah, he was
Bret. He was bleeding, and Davey power slammed outside the ring, and you could see all the blood on the mat outside.
Yeah. Well, what the reason why I said Davey is because I remember when I think about that match, Davey's tights were full of Bret's blood. That's why I thought.
Razor Ramon / Scott Hall, Royal Rumble 1993.
No, because that ladder match with Shawn Michaels, even the SummerSlam one, I would rate above that. With this, though, maybe I need to go back and watch that match, but it really doesn't stand out. Like
I don't think it's another one of those matches that doesn't get talked about a lot.
No, it's not. But
because you got to remember that's not long into Razor's first run in the company.
no, it was
He's a
like
heel at the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ladder match gets a lot of talk because it was like that first one on pay-per-view. So that's but actually, this was in the opening here it says non-gimmick match.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So if it's a non-gimmick match, then yeah, because I can't really remember Razor having like a barn burner with anyone or Scott Hall. Like
the only one I could think of, there was that famous tag match with the Click on Superstars. If you've ever seen it, where they go like all out, like it'd be something.
But it's not a one-on-one match.
Well, they don't list tag, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But Hall, I mean, here's the thing: he was solid. He was a solid worker, but he didn't have like that. I don't know, yeah, I'd have to really think about Scott Hall matches to really come up with anything else. The only other big memorable one would be the 1, 2, 3 kid stuff.
But even that, like,
it was a little corny.
Is done for gimmick, right? It was done for the storyline as opposed to. Oh, you know what? I know a better. Oh no, it was a gimmick match. Never mind. I was gonna say the crybaby match with him and the kid.
Yeah, God. Next one, Yokozuna, WrestleMania 9.
I like the WrestleMania 10 one probably better.
With Bret? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
yeah.
Yokozuna. I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's kind of maybe, but like I feel like with Yoko,
I'm trying to think of another match of Yoko because he was usually squashing people.
Yeah, like I'm trying, like the only other. So when I think of Yokozuna, okay, and not Bret Hart, the only memory that comes to mind is his program with Lex Luger and it's SummerSlam '93 match. But that match wasn't fantastic because that ended up in a count out.
The only other one I can think of is the Hogan match.
Oh, King of the Ring.
Yeah, with the camera and stuff. And I want to forget about that match.
See, it's hard because like Yoko was very agile, but
yeah,
and he was like good. Like I loved Yokozuna, but like I mean, like yeah, I don't know.
I think he's somebody, and you've heard this phrase in wrestling before. It's the moment, not the matches.
Yeah, Yoko a lot of these people are. That's what Ric Flair, or not Ric Flair, Scott Hall was like. Razor Ramon.
We'll go to the next one. So this one's interesting, and this match is really good. But I want to see what you say on this one. Bam Bam Bigelow,
King of the hands Ring, down,
final, 1993.
Yeah. Actually, they had a better one, I think, in Spain.
I've seen it.
Yeah, that was on like a lot of Bret Hart DVDs and that, I think.
Yeah,
one with him in Spain. But yeah, hands down, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
The only other match for
they had great chemistry.
Oh, huge. Bigelow's another one of those big, agile guys, obviously, that could do stuff he shouldn't have been able to.
And you know what? Bigelow could carry guys in matches. He was a big man that could carry guys. Like him and Doink, or like, Matt Bourne. Yeah. Like, Matt Bourne was good and everything, but like, when you're dressing up as a clown, a lot of credibility goes out the window there. So, but giving credit to Bigelow, he kind of carried that a lot. And same with Tatanka. I think he carried Tatanka in their feud. And obviously the biggest one that comes to mind when you want to look at Bam Bam Bigelow, his legacy and him carrying people, is him and Lawrence Taylor. It's probably one of the better celebrity matches in history.
Yeah. I mean, to take a guy that has no experience.
Yeah.
In the main event of WrestleMania at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this with Bigelow. I'm a big fan of his ECW stuff.
Yes.
He was
him and Taz, actually.
Yes. Him and Taz and him and RVD.
Yeah.
When RVD won the TV title. I mean, that was anyway, Bigelow. I don't think Bigelow gets enough praise in wrestling, but I will agree the Bret match, King of the Ring. Next one, I think this in my opinion, should be a no-brainer, but I want your opinion on it. 1, 2, 3 Kid, Monday Night Raw, 1994.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Next
one, I have a feeling you're going to sway slightly on this one. Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. And that's hard because it's Owen Hart.
I really like that match.
Yep.
Like, obviously, I'm going to sway because I already told you Bulldog and Owen Hart, one of my favorite matches of all time. But I really like this match. I thought it was great. The story was great. You know, if you take that Bulldog match out of the equation, though,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have to say so. But it's hard because Owen's Hart, he's one that had good matches with a lot of guys.
Oh, yeah. You know, and they also had that SummerSlam match. I know it's a gimmick, but in the cage.
It wasn't that great.
I liked it.
I didn't think it was that great. It was too convoluted because you had all the
the
Harts
ending.
and,
Yeah, I'll agree on the ending.
Neidhart and all, and yeah.
Next one, Diesel / Kevin Nash, Survivor Series 1995.
Now this is why though, because Bret Hart has given Diesel his best matches. The only other Diesel match that I can think of that comes anywhere close, it's a gimmick match, but was Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Well, they had good chemistry. Those are Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are the two guys that can work with Kevin Nash and bring out the best of him. And it's because they knew how to fight from underneath. Same with, you know what? Another guy, I don't know if he's on the list, but another guy that goes hand in hand with this is Psycho Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
He's not on it. But Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, both of them, they brought out the best in him. Like no one else could. And even he wouldn't, like, his championship run was based on having opponents like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
I got to ask Sid a couple questions the other night, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I asked him about why he was so over as a heel. He was always getting chanted when he was a heel. And he talked about how, I don't know, I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. He was just talking about how he...
You weren't even listening to his responses?
No, I'm trying to remember how he said it. He said that he felt that he was always able to relate to the crowd, even as a heel.
You know what? I would love to ask him about was his ECW run. I thought that run, like him in ECW, was the best he has ever been booked. He looked phenomenal in that run.
I think a lot of guys, when they hit ECW, because they didn't have all the restrictions in ECW, and I think they knew how to book guys there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They knew how high guys' weakness is. You think Sid went in ECW? You think he went over 10 minutes? He didn't even go close to 10 minutes. He's lucky if he even went 5. But he looked phenomenal.
I don't think he was going there to do jobs either.
No, but he, like, that's what you need. Like,
gotta look strong.
I think it got cut short, I believe, because he signed with WCW.
Yeah, that's correct.
But had he not signed with WCW, hands down, he would have been ECW champion.
I remember reading something. Bruiser Brody died in '87, and one of the theories was that he would have been one of those legend guys, even though he would have been in his 50s, that Heyman would have brought in ECW because he would have been able to protect him in ECW. Could you imagine Bruce Brody in ECW?
God, imagine him in like Sandman or him in Sabu.
Yeah,
because him and the Sheik, right? So him and Sabu would be awesome.
Well, there's one more name left on this list. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer. Stone Cold Steve Austin. So they list 2 matches on here, and I would have to probably agree with both.
Yeah.
Survivor Series 96 and WrestleMania 13.
And those 2 matches are on my top 5 of favorite matches of all time, especially the WrestleMania 13. That one actually might be... That one and the Owen Hart British Bulldog one are probably tied hand in hand, I would say, of all time, my favorite matches. It's hard for me to pick one over the other. But to me, those 2 matches, if I could watch, those are my 2 favorite, hands down.
So I would say you agreed with all of them except Davey and Owens.
Yeah. And rightfully so, because they were in the
match. I mean, that's a lot of names that you could list. Those are those guys' best matches ever, and they're all with Bret. Arguably, that's all their best matches. I mean, some of the guys, Mr. Perfect had a long career. He's probably got, tons of great matches. But in terms of a memorable one, for example, it's pretty hard to top that. But that's like that. There's a lot of names on there when you and I are trying to think about other matches for these guys.
Yeah.
Right. And there's more names you could add to this list.
Oh yeah. There's even like wrestlers that aren't legends, like Papa Shango.
Yeah.
His greatest match was against Bret Hart.
Wow.
Tom McGee.
Well, that one's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's tons of guys. It is pretty interesting.
Hey, they had their best matches against Bret Hart, but do you know who Bret Hart had his best match against?
That's a pretty hard.
I have the answer.
I want to hear your answer.
The man, the real legend of the Hart family, Bruce Hart.
What? I don't.
This is where we move on.
Oh man, I don't even know what to say. Have you ever seen matches of Bruce?
He's a legend.
Just ask. Moving on.
It was supposed to be Bruce and Bret, not Bret and Owen.
Yes, it was.
But Bret recommended working with Owen.
Well, no, I think he recommended Bruce first, and then Vince didn't want to do that because
I heard it the other way. I heard Bruce recommended this whole storyline, right? He came and he was like, "Hey, let's do this is," and he gave it to Bret, and Bret took it and was like, "Well, Owen's already with the company, and he's a far better worker." So,
yeah, maybe I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of another story where Bret recommended Bruce to come in with the new Hart Foundation.
Maybe.
And then Vince was
chose the one.
Well, no, because so they had Owen and Davey and Neidhart and Pillman, and he recommended Bruce as like kind of a cruiserweight heel or something.
Oh, this is in '97. Okay.
Yeah, but Bruce has a lot of heat with Vince over like Stampede Revival and all that. And Bruce has some heat in the business.
You really have to watch OSW Review. I think you would love it because they talk a lot about Bruce Hart and they show a lot of things like I think it was like during WrestleMania, whatever it was, 26, where Bret Hart took on Vince McMahon. Vince was laying on the ground and Bruce Hart walked on him. And they showed it. Yeah, you really gotta watch them because they're awesome. There's a plug.
We'll go over a couple other things. I posted on our Facebook page earlier this week. It was a 23-year anniversary of Lex Luger defeating Hulk Hogan in WCW.
Do you know where that took place?
It was in the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yeah, in Detroit.
And
Detroit, baby.
About a month ago, me and Steve were on here. We were discussing Auburn Hills getting demoed, and we were discussing some of the big matches that happened there, and that was one of the matches we discussed. So Luger won the title on Nitro and then dropped it at the pay-per-view that weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
Road Wild, your favorite pay-per-view.
Let me tell you something about Luger winning the title against Hulk Hogan. That made news. I mean, I know it's probably because it happened in Detroit, but it was on like WDIV Channel 4 here in Detroit / Windsor. I was watching the news and they covered that. It was big news. It was like one of their leading stories that night.
Wrestling was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. It's unfortunate. Like that, you know what? Actually, that's probably the biggest moment of Lex Luger's entire career. It's actually kind of a shame because I read his book not long ago and he just kind of glossed over it. It seemed like, well, he did that with a lot, but it was. I think like they really could have. See, okay. So there's a few things I think about when it comes to this. One, they could have really went with Lex Luger, and instead of him dropping the title at the pay-per-view, have him keep it and be their guy against the NWO. However, that would totally undercut Sting, and the Starrcade 1997 build, but they messed that up as well, as we all know anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Luger never got in that, didn't he have a motorcycle wreck or something?
Yeah, but that was years ago.
Yeah, but
Years before this.
think about it like this. When he was, if you ever watched like late 80s Luger, he was so much more mobile.
Yeah, but he's also younger.
I know, but he was never the same after he got hurt. He had that look still, though.
Yeah.
But most of what his look was like his big thing. But if you go back to like the NWA stuff, he did the turn with the Horseman. He was going to be a huge, huge deal at that time. But Luger, to me, was I don't want to say he self-destructed, but
he did.
That's that is what happened.
It's unfortunate, but he did.
He's one of those guys that had, I mean, he's in that legend category, but his legend should be a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't even think it's a work rate issue. I just think WCW just really missed a point there, because if you were going to put the title on him, take it off of Hulk Hogan, because I believe that was the first time Hollywood Hogan was beat. So if you're going to take the title off of him,
was it? Or he lost to the Giant?
The Giant. Okay, the Giant beat him, but that wasn't too far into his run as Hollywood Hogan, right? He was on a bit of a streak, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Luger. It's weird when you talk about Luger, missed opportunities, and you think about how good of a career he actually had. It's just mind-boggling to me. It's just what could have been.
Because he had a great career.
Oh, he did. Huge.
So imagine, everyone's saying that, it could have been bigger. Imagine how big that could have been.
I feel we say that about a lot of people in wrestling, unfortunately.
I know, but Luger, he was really the Lex Express era. Yeah. Oh, I was all over that. All over that. I loved Lex Luger in that time period. In fact, here's a fun fact. Leading up to SummerSlam 93, I was so much like a Lex Luger mark that I tried, I begged, I pleaded to my mom to let me get Lex shaved in the back of my head.
No.
Yeah, true story.
Oh, man.
My friend at the time, one of my best friends at the time, he had Shaq. Because that was the thing. You get, the writing. He has Shaq in the back of his head. And I thought, oh, that is so cool. He has this hero, whatever. I want to get Lex.
This the shaving the names in the back of the head thing, that's so 90s.
It was 90s.
Oh, yeah. It was
1993. It was the summer of 1993.
Would you have gone to the Lex Express?
Hell yeah. I love Lex Luger. I was all in with Lex Luger. I was like, perfect, let's go. And then I even went to, I remember I actually was in the bar watching that night, and he didn't win the title, and it was just I could feel my heart drop. It was really oh no, no, this can't be happening. This is terrible. This is awful.
So speaking of what could have been in wrestling, I came across a clip today, and I remember when this was happening. This is another mid-90s moment. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. There was some
I thought you were going to say Shawn Michaels lost his smile.
He probably did when he had to work this match. So there was a match in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Shawn Michaels made an appearance. This is a great match, actually, against Buddy Landel. And I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I don't remember this because I remember their match they had in WWF.
So Buddy Landel, I came across this match today. It's highlights on Twitter. I posted to our Twitter page. I put one of the greats, Buddy Landel, so underrated. This guy was such a good wrestler that never hit that peak in wrestling. He was good everywhere he was. This match is excellent. Buddy Landel, you watch him in the ring, how he moves, his punches, everything. The way he sells. He's such a smarky heel.
Mm-hmm. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
I could tell you where he went wrong though.
Well, I know it was more extracurricular substance type issues.
No, I mean in the ring, with who he was. Like his
Like the
character.
Nature Boy.
Yeah, he was basically a Ric Flair ripoff.
Well, he wasn't doing that at this point, and he didn't do it in WWF either.
Yeah, they call him Nature Boy Buddy Landel, did they not?
No,
I
that
thought,
was
and he came out with the
NWA.
rope.
I remember he got that push in like 96 or 95,
Yeah,
96 on
95.
Raw. But I remember watching a match not too long ago. He was just Buddy Landel, and he just had the tights.
I don't know.
But I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I agree that really hindered him early because it's a comparison with Flair. Although Flair's a knockoff of Buddy Rogers, but in a way,
but he did it better.
of course, yeah. Well,
that's where if you're going to be an impersonator or knock off someone else's, you better do it better than they do it, or else you're just not going to melt to it.
You got to at least have your own spin on it.
Yeah. So
like how many people copy Billy Graham?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. Okay, going back to Buddy Landel. Imagine if you took him, okay, and you put him in 2020 AEW.
Yep.
How amazing would that be?
Oh, God.
Imagine if he was like with the Revival and they were his heaters.
He'd be the best worker on the show.
Yeah.
That's
people
probably hear that.
AEW.
People probably hear that and they're like, oh, no, come on. The Young Bucks would blow him away. No. I'm sorry. Buddy Landel was one of those talents that could do anything.
Okay, take out AEW, put him in 2020 professional wrestling. There's
saying AEW is not professional wrestling.
Moving on.
No, I'm with you. I think he was a tremendous talent.
My point being is that if there was a guy that was just like him now, with like the gimmick, like the old school and everything like that, just like that young kid or whatever, like I think they would be over as a heel.
Yeah. And then I'm just watching the clips of the match right now. So he did have the robe on the beginning, so maybe he was Nature Boy.
Yeah, told you.
I don't think he was in WWF though, but I could be wrong. But I wanted to make a mention. The ref in the match here is referee Mark Curtis. Brian Hildebrand. He was always one of my favorite refs at WCW because he was so different. I don't know. Refs don't get enough praise in wrestling. Moving on. Lance Storm had a little bit of a storm on Twitter this week. I'm going to read you this tweet, and I want you to give me some feedback on what he said. He said, I see some discussion on intergender wrestling matches again. In light of speaking out, I think these matches have to stop. I've heard from so many women who were uncomfortable doing these, but felt obligated to get booked because these matches were accepted norms. Give me your thoughts on Lance Storm and his tweet.
Well, I mean, that's a hard one because I take Lance Storm out of this and I'm looking at what he's actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, here's the thing, it's hard because do you stop intergender matches because of this? Or when wrestling comes back, are women or men more comfortable to say, hey, no, I feel uncomfortable doing this? We don't know what kind of wrestling, what world it's going to be when it comes back full time. There was a lot in the Speak Now movement. Is this something that will be swept under the rug by then and just forgotten about? Or is this something that is actually going to make a change?
So reading through a lot of the comments, there's a lot of people don't agree with Lance, but there's a lot that do. And some of his tweets that he's put out, because people are trying to say, what does he know about wrestling, which I find hilarious. He's mentioned that he has lots of female students and he's had discussions with them, and a lot of them have been pressured to have these matches and they didn't want to, because it's people putting pressure on them to do these type of matches. Because I don't know if you agree with me on this or not. I feel much like most things in wrestling that catch a little bit of fire, everything gets hot-shotted to death. And I feel in the last couple of years, intergender matches is one of those things. It's like every company's got to have one.
Yeah.
And I think I said it on here before. as a rule, I'm not a huge fan of the intergender matches unless there's an actual storyline reason to have one. I'm not a big fan of the plus ones on cards of an intergender match. Like, why? Like, if I went to an indie show and this has happened and there's just an intergender match on the card, there's no reason for it. Like, what are they competing against each other for? Like what was the reason for them to have this match?
The world title, I guess, if you have to, if you,
Yeah.
you know.
But it depends on the promotion, right? Are women going for the men's heavyweight championship?
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, but if they don't explain that, then what's the need for the match? That's my thing. Like,
Yeah, but then you would have to explain that why every match is happening.
You should. You 100% should anyway.
I think it's one of those things where, like, for the most part, it's just assumed, right? Like, think about this, okay? You're thinking about somebody like, Candice LeRae or Tessa Blanchard, but try and think about somebody like Jamie D.
But that was her gimmick.
Or Chyna.
That's her gimmick, though. If your gimmick was that you beat up men, then I can get behind that.
Well, that's what Tessa Blanchard's gimmick was.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Tessa, though, because she had a storyline reason for that.
And who are you talking about? Candice LeRae?
No, I'm not talking about anyone in particular.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm not a fan of the +1 matches on cards where it's just a guy and a girl wrestling, but there's no reason for them to wrestle. And I feel there's so many of those matches. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you like, Tess is different. She had the feud with Sami Callihan, and that kind of.
See, I don't mind it. I'm not like you were, like, I don't mind watching an intergender match for the most part. I mean, there has to be believability to it. That's all. But, like, it's the same with men. I have to find a reason to believe a guy like Rey Mysterio can, beat or win a match against a guy like The Big Show, right? There has to be believability, right? So I don't mind that as long as there's some sort of believability. Now, what I do mind, though, is these women feeling that they are being pressured into having these matches to get bookings or to, hey, you won't get a booking if you don't, that's the problem. That's where the real issue lies. Okay. And women and men, because this is not one or the other, because men could get uncomfortable too. They should be allowed to say, no, like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Please, I prefer to wrestle my own gender.
So there's been male wrestlers in the past, in the last couple of years, that have refused to do this as well. That companies have requested. Eli Drake was one that comes to mind.
Yeah, and see, and the problem, though, is now they look like, oh, they don't want to wrestle a girl. They're chauvinistic. They don't want a job to a girl, which is wrong. That is wrong. That's just as wrong as women being, saying the same thing.
But I don't know all the reason for that refusal either. So I can't say.
No.
You know what I mean? Because he might not have been comfortable doing it.
And that's the thing. It's in a shade of gray, right? We don't know. We can't sit here and lump every single one into, probably have different categories, different reasons, different times, what have you, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like, if a man and a woman want to do an intergender match, they should both be agreed to do it, be comfortable enough to know, hey, we're professionals. This is not, one way or the other. If there's a spot where they feel comfortable, say, look, I don't feel comfortable doing that. At the end of the day, though, everyone should be professional about it.
I think when you have so many of these, it's not special.
No, it's not. Well, and I think that's what they're aiming at, Matt. I think that's exactly what they're aiming at. I think they want it to be an equal playing ground.
I agree. But then it's almost the equivalent to every match having a ladder in it.
Yeah, it is. It loses its luster,
right? So to me,
listen, it loses its luster, and by all these women doing it, it's killing the gimmick of the girl that can wrestle men.
I agree. And it's like, I could get behind China beating up guys,
Yeah.
right? No one else was doing it then. It was a special thing. I could get behind in some ways, not always, but Tessa doing it because that was her thing. That was she was the one in the company that was doing that. No one else was really doing that. But wrestling's a copycat business. All of a sudden, all these shows, indie shows everywhere. If you look at posters, there's always an intergender match. But wrestling does that. They'll take a concept and they'll just hot shot it to death. But anyway, back to what Lance is saying. His take on it was he felt that people are uncomfortable with it. I'm at basically like a safety issue. And I don't want to get into Joey Ryan, but there's a lot of stuff that's come out about that, obviously, where people are doing awkward things in the ring. So
yeah,
it's I don't know. I don't know where they go with it. It's going to be a hot button topic for a while. But like you said, when wrestling does come back, like everywhere, I guess we'll have a better idea of
exactly.
where
Because,
that's going.
like I said, just to reiterate that point, we do not know what kind of world that will be. Independent wrestling might not be what it was before quarantine, right?
Right. So that was an interesting take from Lance Storm.
I like Lance Storm because he always has very intellectual views. Intellectual views. Thank you.
Did you? Yeah. No, Lance is. I think he's one of the. He's one of the most knowledgeable people in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's too bad that he's not working anywhere right now, because he's a wealth of knowledge.
To be quite honest, I miss his podcast.
Yes, me too. You know what? When he started doing that, I'm like, I don't know if I'll really like a Lance Storm podcast.
Yeah.
But he was, he's got that funny, like dry sense of humor too.
Yeah.
He.
No,
Yeah.
I miss him and
I like his takes.
Don Callis. You like his what?
I like the takes he has on wrestling.
Oh, I thought you said his face. Like, oh, that's a weird statement. Okay, well, I mean, it is 1:30 in the morning, so.
Well, if I could be serious for a moment. Wow. Anyway, did you smell what The Rock was cooking this week?
The XFL buyout, whatever.
Yes. $15 million
with partners.
With partners. But
yeah,
$15 million was not what was invested in that company.
No, it was just to buy the letters.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that? And what do you think of The Rock getting into the football game?
Well, we don't know what he's going to use it for. It could be for the library. It could be for he could take it and make it a part of his Ballers show.
Well, I mean,
that's a lot of money.
But baller with this thing.
Wow. I mean, who knows? Like, that's the thing. Like, who knows really what he's going to do with it? But at this point, it's like, with the XFL, like, who really cares about it, right? It made a comeback, and it was a quite successful comeback until quarantine killed it. Yeah, it was. It wasn't. They were onto something, but business is business, and Vince. I guess he didn't make a lot of friends with Andrew Luck's dad. But I don't know. Good for him. Good for Dwayne. Go sports team.
He did make a statement that he was a football player and dreamed of playing pro, and now he has the chance to give athletes a chance to be pro athletes. So
he should pay them $7.
$7 production.
Yeah.
Did you watch Raw this week?
Yes, I did. Is that supposed to be a trick question?
Well, I mean, you could have been busy. You could have been watching old Nitros or something.
I think I'd rather have watched old Nitros.
Give me your thoughts on Raw Underground.
Okay, first of all,
I want to
tell you one thing. I don't watch Raw anymore. Okay, I don't usually catch it every single week. Okay, now this week I wanted to get it. I was intrigued. I wanted to watch it. What intrigued me this week were two things: Shane McMahon's announcement / Raw Underground, and the new group they were hyping. This new group that is, going to wreak chaos.
Yep.
So we'll talk about both of them. Raw Underground first.
Yes.
I was told about it before I watched it, and
Really?
I thought it sounded terrible. I thought I was walking into another Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Right? That's what, because I was told, oh, there's this underground thing. It's like MMA, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. This is the end of WWE for me.
Yep.
So I turned on the TV, got through most of Raw, which was pretty bad.
Really?
Finally made it to Raw. Yeah, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch wrestling. I watch AEW mostly now.
Oh, that's not wrestling.
It's AEW. I watch Impact. Maybe some of SmackDown. Maybe that's about
Continue.
it. Anyway, it was better than I thought. I liked it. It seemed like something out of an '80s movie, like Bloodsport.
Thank you. That was my thought too.
Yeah, I like the idea and all that. I like the feel of it.
Yep.
I don't want to say I like the idea. I take that back. I like the feel of it. What I don't know though, okay, everyone's like, oh yeah, because I thought it got pretty positive reviews. They're like, oh, it's kind of cool, blah 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 blah. But here's the thing: where are they going with it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be its own league? Are they going to have a title? Is it going to be like a group that Shane McMahon brings in? Is it going to be a launchy pad for like maybe that big Mohawk guy that they had on?
Yeah.
Where are they going with this? This is what intrigues me, because I want to see where they go with it.
Exactly.
Because I don't understand what's going to happen. Because at the end, what are they called? The Hurt Locker or something like that? The Hurt Business?
Hurt Business.
Whatever. They took over it basically at the end. Which I thought that was pretty cool, because they're all three of them are legit badasses in my opinion.
Yes.
So I thought that was pretty cool, because a lot of people don't look at Shelton and MVP like that, but they can handle their own. That was pretty believable. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. I was pretty positive on this. I know you liked it.
So I liked it. To me, it's funny because I always read people's feedback on everything and hear feedback on everything. And I have some of the fans that I don't think get it, which is okay, because people are like, oh, this is just MMA, fake fighting. I didn't get that at all. This is like no holds barred, brawling, fighting. It's like you said, blood sport, like kickboxer, that pit fighting game that was on Super Nintendo when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was just talking about that game a couple of weeks ago.
So I did not get an MMA feel to it. It was just, this is underground fighting. There's no rules. But what I like the look of it. The one thing you probably could do a little more with it is make it dirty it up a little bit, because it is produced pretty high quality. But
yeah, a lot of camera cuts.
Well, I didn't care about that. I was complaining about that, but to me, that the only thing I would change on that would be I know it's gonna sound funny, but I would probably remove some of the shots of the girls, the dancer girls.
Yeah, that's the one part about it that I did not like, was the dancer girls. I thought that was kind of corny. So, and you know what I would have done with this is I would have made it look like cell phone footage.
Well, it should be dirtier. It should be more grainy.
Yeah, instead of HD 4K cameras, I would have put like a cell phone.
Well, you can do 4K because it's Shane, like he's got money. But I would have the lights down lower. I would have it more, I don't know, how that gritty feel to it. To me, if they do continue this, it's a good vehicle to launch other talent and use talent that you're not really using.
But how do you continue it?
You got to have guys run over people, over other guys. Just have people killing each other. It's funny because I look at like Dolph Ziggler was in it.
Yeah.
And Dolph's a legit tough guy too.
Yes,
people
he
forget
is.
about that, right? And it's like he chokes a guy out, and it's quick. You could do these quick little shoots because wrestling fans are so jaded. They don't get that a real fight is quick and ugly.
Yeah.
It's not an overly produced thing. If you watched UFC or any MMA fight, if it goes to the judge's decision, most 9 times out of 10, the crowd's booing.
Yeah.
Right? They want a knockout. They want somebody just tapping, whatever. So to me, if you could introduce new talent, you could rehabilitate some talent with that. I mean, that was only the first run of it, so you got to give it more of a chance to breathe to really see where it's going to go. And I'm with you. I like the Hurt Business coming in at the end. That power bomb Lashley on that guy.
Oh, that's brutal.
Right? And you got a guy like Shelton Benjamin, who, I mean, it's too bad he's not looked at as a bigger star in his career. But this Hurt Business and this kind of thing, like, that could be big. You know what I thought, too? Like, I know it's Shane's thing, but I almost thought MVP should be the MC for that thing.
Yeah. Well, even like the music, right? It was like hip hop kind of music in the background, which I really like that.
I mean, MVP could be like a mouthpiece, like Don King or something like that, because he's just got that. He's got that voice and that kind of charisma. But I mean, he's been actively wrestling, so I don't know if they'd go that far.
They might, though. No, listen, they might, because at the end they took over. They said they were taking over.
Yeah, but Shane said he's coming back next week, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's where we.
Well, maybe. Well, actually, he put. I hope you enjoyed night 1 of Raw Underground. We got more work to do, or something like that. So I'm assuming Shane's coming back. I thought it was good. And you got to let these things breathe a little bit. So
yeah,
I think that I don't know. There's a lot of possibility. The other criticism people had was that the Hurt Business lost earlier in the night and then they dominate this. But I think that's a stupid criticism because they're mad that they lost.
Yeah, and also this has different rules than professional wrestling does.
Thank you. See, this is why I like talking to you. You understand. You're not part of the Mark World Order.
But here's a problem with that though, Matt, right?
But
we understand it, we get it, but the general population probably doesn't.
Right.
So that's WWE's problem, right?
Well, it's a problem in wrestling in general, right? It's a niche crowd, but there's now that you've broken it up in more niche likes when it comes to styles and different things in wrestling. So I don't know. What else we're talking about on Raw? We're talking about that new faction, right?
Yeah. They hyped up this faction that there was supposed to be this faction and blah blah blah. So I was expecting to see members of said faction. Instead, all I got was security cam footage and them doing stupid pranks or whatever it was. I was so disappointed by this.
They're throwing Molotov cocktails at the production truck or something.
But why couldn't we get like at least one member revealed? Give me a reason to tune back in for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I did like that they had that running story on the show with the lights and all that stuff because I was watching it. I'm like, well, it's clearly an angle. So what's actually happening here?
But there was no payoff.
I know, but it's not done yet.
But there's there's nothing. Like not
on that show.
No one's talking about that. Everyone's talking about Raw Underground because no one's talking about those people, right? Like that's not the hot topic, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this group, right? Like I'm thinking like kind of like when the Nexus came.
Yeah.
Instead, I got more like when the Spirit Squad came.
Good one. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently I think this thing continued on SmackDown tonight.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen SmackDown either yet. By the way, one thing I just want to say, the one thing on SmackDown that I'm kind of interested in is the Fiend and Braun Strowman storyline, especially now that Alexa Bliss is involved. Just want to say that. I can't wait to see where that goes so we could talk more about that.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, not tonight.
So just to finish up Raw, I actually liked most of the show this past week. I didn't. The Retribution group, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have any takeaways from that. Apollo Crews MVP was pretty good. I like that. Orton's on fire promo-wise. Imagine he's going to be the champion soon. I do, again, I said it before, I'll say it again. I feel bad for Drew. Like this, the wrong era for him to become the champion. Lost his moment. And they're not doing him any favors with a lot of his quirky content on the show, although that's been toned down last couple shows, but still.
What's done is done.
The damage is done. Can't really think of anything else from that show off the top of my head. Shayna Baszler's been back. I'm happy about that. She was off TV forever.
Well, now that she's 40, they gotta start using her.
Anyway, Raw was better. I'm more intrigued to watch it now with the underground thing. I actually can't wait to see what they do this Monday. I want to see some more Frank Dukes Bloodsport stuff. If you had to pick a wrestler to be in that Raw Underground, who would you pick?
Like one that wasn't already there?
Yes.
Brock Lesnar.
Yes. So you know what? And I had thought about this, and I heard it on another podcast. If Lashley's dominating this underground thing for a long time, that would be the good entry for Brock to come back in.
Yeah.
Because then it'd be on. Because that's the match they should have built a long time ago.
Yeah.
But Lashley's, he's finally kind of where he needs to be now. But, man, he was on life support for quite a while.
Now, here's one. This is probably unpopular for you. Could you use Raw Underground to launch a female?
Yeah.
Against males?
No.
Like Shayna Baszler?
Well, maybe her.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, imagine you get, like, obviously you get guys in there, and then it's like, okay, and now your opponent, and the camera pans over, and it's Shayna Baszler, and she just dominates the guy.
Yeah, I'd get behind that.
You know, I'm going to tell you what Raw Underground is, okay? And quote me on this. Put this on our Twitter. Raw Underground is the 2020 way of doing a squash match.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's what it is. If you want my opinion on Raw Underground, that's it. And you can take that, you can put it on Twitter, you can put it on whatever you want to put it on, T-shirts, Instagram posts, TikTok, whatever. I don't know these things, but that's my statement.
You could put a lot of different people in this thing, though, right? You could have Matt Riddle, Timothy Thatcher.
But think outside of the box, right? Like, I mean, obviously you can have like Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, but think outside the box. So of the guys that you can have in this, that you can bring and you could put in and make them look amazing.
The Miz. But I mean,
but like, no, I'm saying like a guy that doesn't have that background of being like the reputational tough guy, like, you know, that doesn't have like an MMA background, like Kevin Owens.
Yep, you had the Viking Raiders in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be submission expert or anything like that.
No.
But that's what a tough man fight contest is.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll be interested to see who's in it. As long as they don't put like the ninjas in it or something like that, and get too gimmicky with it.
24 title.
Oh God. Did you watch the AEW women's thing on YouTube?
No, I meant to, but I didn't watch it.
Oh boy.
How was it? You give me your hot take on it.
Well, I'll give them credit. They're trying to make it like a really special tournament. It's a women's tag tournament, right? So obviously they're trying to really pump it up, and I don't know. Anyway, so they had 2 matches, I believe, on the YouTube show.
Yeah.
So actually, they had a couple surprises. Medusa came out on the show and showed like the trophy.
That's cool.
The ring announcer was Shaul Guerrero, so that was kind of neat. And Veda Scott was on commentary for the tournament too. So with Tony. So anyway, they had the Nightmare Sisters. This tournament's like the old Lethal Lottery tournament in WCW.
I like that.
I like the concept. So like Penelope Ford's up first, so she draws her color, and then you remember Mel that was on the show?
Who?
Mel.
She
was the bald girl that was with Brandy when she was doing the whole Nightmare.
Oh yeah.
So that Penelope Ford picks her as her partner. So then Brandy picks a color, and then on camera, Allie reaches in the basket and grabs the same color. It was ridiculous. Just so they could be partners. So then there's the Nightmare Sisters. This match was terrible. It was just absolutely. I hate totally knocking matches, but it wasn't very good. Nightmare Sisters win. So then the second match was Anna Jay, Tanera Conti from NXT against Nyla Rose and Ariane. Yeah, it was, man. This show was tough to watch, to be honest with you. I'm glad it was only 2 matches.
I'm glad you watched it, not me.
Yeah, so anyway, Anna Jay and Tay Conti won the match and eliminated Nyla Rose and Ariane. So I don't know if Ariane's doing anything else at the company. Anna Jay's supposed to be in the Dark Order, but she was acting like she was before in this match. I don't know. It didn't really make much sense to me. Nothing to write home about. If you didn't see it, I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest with you.
I think we got what we needed out of it.
Yeah, well, that was kind of a waste of time. I did watch a little bit of Dark, and the owner, I don't know why I was watching it. Scorpio Sky challenged for the world title, so I'm pretty sure or TNT title, or he made a statement that he doesn't get any credit or something. I don't know. He's going against Cody next week. That was really the only thing to watch from Dark. Now, you watch Dynamite?
Yes.
All right. We can run through it. First match, again, was a gimmick tag match. It was a 12-man tag this week. Before we get into anything, I've been critical of Dark Order, but I am going to put Brody Lee over, but not for wrestling. He put on Twitter this week, and see if you follow me on this. He put on Twitter AM34, okay?
Yeah.
Do you know what AM34 is?
That is the Twitter handle of one Austin Matthews.
Yes. See, I knew you would know this. Twitter did not know this. They kept wishing Brody Lee a happy birthday.
They think he tried to put IM34. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Stop it.
I was dying. I was reading the comments. It was so funny. But Brody Lee actually is a huge hockey fan, and he's a big Leafs fan, even though he's from New York. Anyway, what's that?
Okay. I got something on Brody Lee, but it pertains to like AEW.
Yep.
Not his birthday.
Okay.
So one of the things that I did not like about the Dark Order this week was Mr. Brody Lee and his attire. Now, I know that this is like he has this attire. This is what, he kind of wore in the WWE, and he wore this before in AEW. However, when you look at him, like in this match, he just felt like another participant. He did not feel like he was the leader until the very end. Mm-hmm. And the way that he looks does not look like that of a leader. One of the other participants was wearing like a suit and tie, or like a suit. He should have been wearing something that resembles something like that.
Yeah.
Or something that resembles where, you look at him and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a leader. All he had was Brody Lee on the side of his pants and Roman numerals on the other side. But it did not look like, you just look like another member of the Dark Order, where he should be looking like a leader. I don't know. I just found that kind of irritating, Like,
I would
agree. That's my problem with a lot of wrestlers today, is that they don't play their part or their character throughout. They forget about who they are while they're wrestling in the match.
Do you think if you're in one of these multi-man matches, maybe it's just me, but shouldn't you have something that just makes you stand out amongst everybody? Because there's so many people in that match.
Yeah.
If you look bland, you come across bland, then you are bland.
Yeah. Well, with the Dark Order, right? The person that stood out to me was Cole Cabana, and not because I'm a huge Cole Cabana fan, but because he was acting his part throughout the entire match, which at times kind of may have directed your attention away from the match, which is bad. However, it worked because he's doing this thing where he's not too sure of what is going on. You could kind of tell, like, he's kind of conflicted. So he stood out on the Dark Order's part because of that. Yeah. Him and Brody Lee were the two that stood out. On the other side, I have no idea what they were trying to do with this match because they took FTR out midway through with Hangman Page, and then Hangman Page made this valiant comeback.
Yeah.
It's not like he was injured or anything.
I want to stop you there because this was one of my pet peeves in that match. So I'm okay with Page making the valiant comeback, but he made a valiant comeback after Matt Jackson made a huge valiant comeback. This was like 30 seconds after that.
Yeah.
So who are you spotlighting in this match?
That's where I couldn't figure it out. At the end, it told us that they were trying to spotlight Brody Lee and Colt Cabana. That's the story at the end because Brody Lee got the win and Colt Cabana, they mentioned, has not lost since joining the Dark Order. Okay, so this is the vehicle for that. However, during the match, like, you know, there's so much different things going on, like, and I'm not talking about like within the match itself, like within like the contest, like the participants, but just like so many stories going on in the match that I kind of got confused of where I was supposed to, you know, be going here.
It's too many. It's too much.
You know what it felt like to me? This match was like almost like a choose your own adventure type of thing.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't like FTR in these matches.
Oh, one more thing I want to know. And I know maybe it's because it was a multi-man tag match or whatever. Yeah. But I made note of this. No tag ropes.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean, like, I can understand that maybe they're not using them because it's a multi-man match. But no tag rope.
Yeah, because now they've turned it into a storyline that only FTR has them.
Yeah, but there should be tag ropes. Like, I should see tag ropes. No tag ropes. Just want to make mention because that was something that's been pointed out.
You know,
last couple of weeks.
Now that you mention that, I think it was on, was it JR's podcast? It was something recently, and I think JR mentioned it, that the tag ropes, I don't know if the tag ropes went away because too many talents complained about it.
Really?
They didn't want to use them or something. I'd have to look that up. Don't quote me on that, but I remember
so
hearing
hard
something
to grab a little white rope that's hanging there when you're not in the ring?
Because you have talents that don't want to do what the rules are. They just want to do whatever they want. It's kind of what I gathered from that. JR could be working too into an angle. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, this match was, to me, it was a poorly booked mess. They're trying to overdo these tags and gimmick tags, and I don't know, man. One thing that annoyed me in the match, there's a part where Page does the fire up and he's clearing house and all that, and I don't know, Brody Lee just stands there to watch him moonsault on all his friends. It was weird. Like, it was a really strange. It's another match that's way too long. That match was well over 20 again to start the show, and I know why they're trying to do this. They're trying to get people from changing NXT. But these matches, I don't know. It was just moves for the sake of moves. There wasn't really anything going on. I don't know. I wasn't big on that. I'm just going through the results here. I forgot about this match, actually. Santana and Ortiz versus Best Friends. So that's the second match on the show.
This match went on forever.
So we just came off a 12-man tag. Now we're going to a regular tag.
And this match went on forever. It went through a commercial break and everything.
And now that I think about it, this match was stupid because they did the whole thing about Trent's mom with the vehicle before the show and park it safely. Anyway, I don't have anything to add to that.
I have nothing more to say than what I just said.
Yeah. MJF had his presidential thing.
And this was the only thing we saw of MJF.
No, he had one thing at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
So, I mean, even though this is kind of gimmicky, MJF, it's still awesome because it's MJF. I can get behind whatever with him. Although, oh, by the way, they somebody compared this MJF gimmick with the presidential thing to a gimmick EC3 did in 2016. And it was a side-by-side comparison in promos. It's almost the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
I didn't know this.
Well, MJF probably did it better.
Yeah. No, I'm not knocking EC3, but I mean, MJF's best promo guy in wrestling, or one of them anyway. Matt Hardy promo. Oh, so Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara had the big brawl. And I did miss this, but I did see where Matt got busted really badly. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I did. It was nasty.
So, it was pretty nasty. So now, I mean, blood adds to the feud, so that's kind of good.
But,
that will go ahead. Sorry.
But this should have been the only MJF that we seen this week.
MJF talking about Matt Hardy.
Sorry, Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara.
This should have been the only Sammy Guevara we saw this week, but it wasn't.
I agree.
Not later.
I agree. So the show's over.
The brawl was all right. Like, it was pretty. It was a good brawl. They were really going at it. But Matt Hardy, his whole promo was, I don't know where he was going with this. I didn't like his promo. I like the brawl. That's about that.
Well, he's trying a new character, so I don't know.
Not working. It's not working, Matt. Not working.
Which is weird because he can cut a good promo, like outside the broken stuff. But yeah, I have to agree. It wasn't great. And then
why not just do the broken stuff that people want?
I have a feeling there was a lot of negative feedback and he dropped it, is what I'm gathering. But I don't know. Maybe he's not done with it. Who knows? I don't think he's done much in AEW, truthfully, at this point. But again, no fans. It's really hard to gauge this stuff. Santana Ortiz destroy Trent's mom's minivan. Next, I didn't get to watch all this match. Dark Order versus Matt Cardona and Cody. Do you have any knowledge of this match?
I watched it. That's it.
I do like Matt Cardona. I like Matt Cardona's music. He's got a pretty cool entrance theme.
I mean, there's nothing much to it,
I mean, there's another tag match.
Yeah. And what's funny? They announced next week that it's FTR Appreciation Night, so they're going to have all these tag matches. I kid you not.
Tag Team Appreciation Night.
Oh yeah, but it had FTR's logo or whatever in it.
Well, because they put that in their contract that they have to have a Tag Team Appreciation Night. So,
isn't every night a Tag Team Appreciation Night?
Seems like it.
So this is how they're expecting to turn FTR heels. I get it now.
That they follow the rules. Yes.
More tag team matches.
Oh boy. They announced they're gonna do a thing for Arn and Tully in the Rock and Roll Express next week.
I find that interesting.
I do too. So Scorpio Sky wants the TNT title, set up the match for next week. More stuff on Trent's mom's van, which is great. Then we get to the debate, and then the mystery moderator is Eric Bischoff.
I thought this was cool. I
thought Bischoff coming out was pretty cool because you say what you want about him, he is a really good character on TV. So, what did you think of the debate?
I thought it was all right. It was supposed to be like a comedic thing, like something that you would see on a sitcom or something. I got it. I got the humor. I understand where they were going. I was entertained by it. It did its thing. I have no problem with this debate.
It was okay. I'm not that into this feud, truthfully.
I'm not going to sit here and say this was the best thing ever.
It was, for what it was fine.
I was entertained. That's the job I think it was supposed to do, and it did.
Honestly, I like Bischoff the best in this thing, just to be truthful with you.
Yeah.
Because the way he deadpan and stuff in it, he was actually pretty good. It's weird that they're doing the debate stuff right now. You think they'd be doing it more around November because it would make more sense.
Who knows where the world will be in November?
I don't know. It is 2020.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta do it while you can, I guess.
So then they had Reba versus Big Swole. I wrote some notes. Reba's really entertaining.
She is.
And I'm glad they kept the match short. It was what it needed to be. Big Swole's a good character. I don't think she's really good in the ring, but I think keeping it short's the best thing for this type of match.
Yeah.
She's really green. I think Big Swole one day will probably be really good, but she's another talent that's really green in the ring. That's the best thing you could have done in this. But the funny part for me is Reva. She she did everything awkward in the ring, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, she did. She did a really good job at that. Like even the moonsault and
Yes.
everything.
She did it like where it's like she's unsure of herself, but then they killed the gimmick on commentary where they talk about how she's been a wrestler for so many years.
Yeah, that was.
Anyway, it's AEW. Sometimes you don't get everything that you want. At least I don't. Anyway, so before the main event, they just announced next week FTR Tag Team Appreciation Night, Jericho versus Cassidy 2 in a $7,000 obligation match. Cody versus Scorpio Sky for TNT title. Omega and Page versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, non-title. Grayson and Uno against the Young Bucks. That's the card for next week. And then the main event was Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. I would say this was my favorite thing on the show. This was probably the best Moxley match I've seen in AEW, in my opinion. And Darby Allin, I really like him. Actually, I like him more and more every time I see him.
Yeah.
He kind of, I never know like if he's really dying in the ring or not, because he takes these outrageous bumps. But Moxley looked awesome against him because Darby could really sell and bump for him.
Yeah.
He did a ring post bump that was ridiculous at one point, where he got thrown from I don't know if it was the stands into the ring post or what that was. Moxley looked vicious in this match, like that brawling style. Just the only thing I would say is Moxley looked like Superman at the end of the match. Darby's hitting him with every move possible, every finish there is, including the Judas effect. And Moxley's kicking out. He even got busted open in this match. Anyway, MJF interfered in the match because he did mention earlier in his promo that somebody asked him what would happen if Darby won. He said he wouldn't be scared to fight an emo kid for the world title. So he tried to interfere. It cost Moxley the match because he thought he could beat Darby Allin for the title. So, I mean, I liked the match. I thought that was the best part of the show. What do you think of that match?
I thought it was excellent. One thing I just want to point out that we didn't talk about was Moxley had a promo earlier in the evening, and I thought it was probably one of his best promos where he compared Darby Allin to him. The only thing I would add in that promo is it would have been nice to have some footage or some background of letting people know that he used to be a deathmatch wrestler. That would have been nice, even if it was like pictures from PWI or something, right? But I really like that promo. I thought it really set the background for this match. It made me more interested in watching it. And I thought this was probably one of the better matches AEW had on Dynamite this year.
Yeah, I would agree because I thought this show overall was pretty weak, but this match was worth watching.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of promos on this show, which to me, like I said last week, I think that's been the strength of AEW. People will argue all the ring stuff, but I don't think a lot of the matches have been that great. But this match was. I would agree. Moxley, this is the kind of matches Moxley needs because I think, I don't know, like Moxley, he's clearly a star, but something's just, I don't know, something's been off with him in the last, I don't know, couple months probably, because he is a good character. He's a good promo. He can have good matches, but I think he needs a specific opponent to really put him over the top in matches.
Yeah.
Because he's a brawling type character. He's not I don't know. But Darby Allin, to me, I look at that guy, see the way he works. I love the way he moves in the ring. I love like he transitions well. Like right at the beginning of the match was very snappy, like standing switch. He could just he was so good in the match.
Yeah, and he can draw sympathy.
Sympathy, yeah.
And he connects with the younger crowd.
Yeah, because he's different. He's weird.
Yeah.
Like he's got that. You just can't put your finger on it. He's just different. He's just the only. I mean, The only real knock you could really, I mean, size, he's a little smaller, but I think it works for him.
It does. It really does. I like to see him in Raw Underground.
Do you think if Moxley was still in WWE, he would do Raw?
Oh yeah, he'd be all over that. He'd have his taped fist. He would be all over that.
I would agree. He'd probably turn into Ian Rotten, Axel Rotten with the what they do? They did the taped glass on their fists.
Taipei glass match.
Death
Glass death match or something like that.
Yeah, no. I think that match was great. AEW was really nothing to write home about this week. You'll have to watch the next women's tournament because I really want your reaction.
Maybe we'll see.
Yes, the good part is those shows, they're not very long. 2 matches on YouTube. Anything else you want to?
I might have to fast forward.
What's that?
I said I might have to fast forward through it.
Anything else you want to go over today?
No, I think we covered it. I mean, unless you want to say a thing or two about NXT, I didn't watch that. I know you caught some of it.
I caught a little bit of it. They did the Pat McAfee feud with Adam Cole on the show.
Yeah.
So the main event was O'Reilly and Fish against Imperium. And it ended up with because Pat McAfee was doing commentary, and he ends up getting in it with Adam Cole, and he gives him like a punt kick, like a punter's kick from football, and like almost knocks him out. Like, and you know what I like about NXT? Actually, I know people complain about it. I like the dark look of the show.
Yeah,
it kind of has like because at the end of the show, Adam Cole's laying on the ground and he's like out, and like all of a sudden you see Triple H walking the Shaw. It's kind of funny because it's almost like, gee, who's the star here? So Michaels is hanging over Adam Cole, look at him, and Triple H is walking back and forth, pacing with the light shining on him, like, oh man, and stuff. But I like this feud though. I like this Adam Cole thing. Like I don't know, it's different than what WWE has been doing.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear too many talents dropping F-bombs on shows and things like that.
No.
So I don't know what, like, they're gearing up for a match. I don't know what Pat's going to do in the ring, but
maybe he's been training for all we know.
He's more of a goofy type person.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It did get a lot of buzz though. So it's, I don't know. Adam Cole, I guess this will be the test for him, right? Because I think we can agree he's probably one of the best wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
And I did see...
I would say he's probably the next Shawn Michaels.
Why? Because he looks like him?
No, because that's what Pat McAfee said. That got him mad.
I got to go back and watch it. But Keith Lee was going against Cameron Grimes, which I really wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And then there was a Cross promo, and man, Karrion Kross looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait for that match. Like, I feel like they're like pushing Karrion Kross to the top really fast, but
well, I mean, you got to. It's better to push him now instead of like sit on him for a while and.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
they do that with so many.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who it is, right? If they're over, they're over. Might as well use them. But I mean, we talked about Keith Lee before. I love Keith Lee. This guy, I watched the way he moves around the ring. He looked actually mad on this show, like he was gonna like rip the ring post off. Like he's awesome. I don't know. I gotta go back. I gotta watch all NXT. I can't really give you like a full thing on it, but I
know. I just wanted whatever you saw.
Hey, before we close this off, did you see the recent picture of Roman Reigns?
No, I did not. I can Google it though really quick.
He looks tremendous.
I saw the Rusev one.
Oh man, check out Roman Reigns. Like he did like a workout picture.
What if you know how they were saying like the Bobby Lashley thing, where what if it was Roman Reigns that returned in Raw Underground?
That'd be interesting. You know what I've been thinking, because
yeah, Yeah, he looks like a monster.
Right?
Looks like
You,
The
you
Rock.
know, oh, wow. You know what I think? I was thinking about this the other day. You know, there's a lot of talent that's not on the shows right now, just with everything that's going on. When they do have fans again, I think that's going to be the biggest baby face in wrestling, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You know, because here's the thing, right? WWE always they inadvertently make themselves heels. Reigns put himself and his health and his family first, and people know that.
Yeah.
And he's a cancer survivor. So I think he's going to be a massive baby. I would say this: if he comes back, like he looks huge. If he changes his look a bit, get rid of the Shield, some of the old Shield stuff, he'd be the biggest baby face in wrestling. I think.
I think you give wrestling fans too much credit.
Think so?
Yeah, they'll find something to hate on.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess it depends how you do it because he's a likable guy.
You really got to change his gear.
I agree. He's got to come back different.
Yeah, it's too stale. I mean, it's like hanging on to the glory years of 2013.
But I like your idea, the Raw Underground thing.
Yeah.
Comes back, he's a badass. He's back to like Roman Reigns in the original Shield, where he's just killing guys, but looks different.
Especially imagine like, you know, you got like say Lashley going through everyone and like he beats everyone. Like he just beats everyone. And then it's like he's like, "Oh yeah, who's next?" And then all of a sudden you hear, "I am." And the camera, there's a reveal.
Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg. And then he kills Goldberg. He spears Goldberg, and then Roman Reigns comes and spears him. Says, "Suffering succotash. It was me. It was me, Lashley, all along." You can tell it's getting late.
But nah, if he did that Raw, like I mean, I would imagine this Raw Underground thing's gonna be around for a while. So that would be, I don't know, that would be interesting.
It really would be.
All right. Well, we could end it there. Be sure to follow all our social media, Three Falls Podcast. Keep downloading the shows. Send us a message if you got any ideas.
Send us feedback. Send us anything. Ask us a question. Send us hate mail. I don't care. We'll read it. We'll respond to it. Anything. Yeah, hey, you know what? Send us something. Send us some email, and you could be in our MySpace top 5. A sweepstakes we're running.
I think both of us would enjoy the hate mail. We're both heels at heart.
I love the hate mail.
Yeah, and then watch Punga gets fan mail.
He gets spam, you know, like in your email. That's what he gets.
You know it's 2020 if Punga gets sympathetic mail and we get heat. All right, so for Derek, it's Matt.
Hopefully we'll have Punga next week.
The ghost of Punga. We'll see you next week.